Hey guys, Pummel coming here with some more Warlock information coming into Wrath. I wanted to make a video talking about BiS and every associated option that there could possibly be. Currently, this gear set you see on my screen is what I'm going to be shooting for personally as my BiS before I step into Nax, given that 1 week we have before the raid comes out. The most important thing for your BiS is your hit. We get 3% hit from talents of other classes. Fairy Fire gives you 3% spell hit, or if you go into the Priest talent tree, Misery gives you 3% hit, so that's 3% hit right there. You get 3% from talents, from suppression, and if you're Alliance, luckily, you get 1% hit from Draenei. This set is assuming that I won't be getting a Draenei because I don't know. I just feel like I'm not going to get a Draenei. And that's just how it is. But there's fortunately a lot of options, and I just wanted to go through all of them today and show you a few sets that you can make. So I'm going to start from the right this time. Usually people start from the top. I'm going to start from the right. This is the best one you can get in the beginning, is this wand from Heroic Guard Keep. And this isn't going to be that difficult to farm. You just run it every day. Hopefully you get it in the first week. But it's a very good option. If you can't seem to get this, if you're getting unlucky, the Wanda Demon Soul in the live version is a very good one itself. The only difference is that it doesn't really have any hit, but you could always just gem the hit if you're missing out. I find that a lot of the previous gear doesn't have a lot of hit options, but this is a good one as well. And if you're playing TBC right now, it's very easy. There's a bunch of mage farms going on that you can just stick your character in, watch a movie, and you'll get it relatively quickly. But these are the two ones that I would go for early on. For trinkets, there's a few options. This Mark of the War Prisoner, I think this is a crazy good trinket. 73 hit rating is something that will be hard to replace. You'll have to gem your way out of it or find some off pieces to switch out. But this is a really good trinket, and it's from Violet Hold. So you just run Violet Hold. It's a very easy dungeon, and you'll get it pretty quickly because it's a blue. And I on private servers I use this for so long. I love this trinket. But if you don't want to have such a hit crutch, then another trinket you could use is Forge Ember. Forge Ember has a huge amount of crit, and it's a proc spell power trinket, which is really good itself. So if you don't need the hit, get Forge Ember. If you need the hit, get the Mark. There's some other trinkets as well. Sundial from Badges is a very good trinket. Definitely pre-BiS. Straight crit, easy spell damage. There's another trinket in the game called the Egg. Egg worked weird on private servers and was really OP. Right now, it's on the horizon as a good trinket, but I don't know if it's been tested 100% to behave the same. So I would keep an eye out on this, but I would definitely shoot for Sundial, Mark, and Forge so you can play around with everything and figure out what's best for you. For rings, I think these are the best two rings, Band of Guile and Alliance, both from Heroics. I don't think there's really any competition. Other options would be Prospector's Prize. I don't like it personally because it doesn't have any spell power. I thought it was good originally, but I was convinced otherwise by my friends because it has no spell power. It's a huge hit option if you're missing hit, and very easy to get because it's a blue from a heroic. This Jewelcrafting Ring, this is super okay. I don't like how it doesn't have any raw stats. I'm a stamina shill. If you're alive, you're doing damage. So I would avoid this personally. If you're looking for Signet of Kirin Tor, if you're rich, I guess you could buy this. This is a great ring itself, but I try to recommend things that people can farm for themselves and not pig their way to. And these are just better than any TBC option. So I would go farm these as fast as I could. For boots are luckily very easy. You just throw on a Wimbrous Accord Tabard and do some dungeons, and you'll get this extremely quickly. You just need to be friendly to put on the Tabard, and you get reputation from all the heroics that you're doing. So I wouldn't worry about boots at all. You'll get these very quickly. I don't think there's any other boots that you're going to need. For legs, there's a lot of options for legs, and Namely, if you play TBC right now, Leggings of Calamity, I think are the best option. I think they're very, very comparable to Pantaloons Growing Strife, because in Wrath, you're going to be using Spirit as a main stat stick. You have the Glyph of Life tap. It converts 20% of your Spirit to spell power for 40 seconds. And then your Fell Armor also takes 30% of your Spirit and adds that to spell power. So you're taking a lot of spell power from Spirit. It's a huge stat for you. And Leggings of Calamity has a lot of spell power as the base, 3 gem sockets, crit, and haste, which is great for Affliction. But Pantaloons are a very, very good option as well. If you get your hands on either of these, I would be very, very happy. If you don't have either of those and you're just trying to get an item to get into Nax and get the ball rolling, these tailoring legs are pretty good. Black Dusty legs, there's nothing wrong with them. Stamina, intellect, spell power, haste. All the stats are kind of hidden. There's another pair of legs that I was made aware of thanks to the Snibbler. Shout out the Snibbler. From Heroical Garkeep. These are pretty good. They got straight spirit. They got 2 sockets, spell power. Can't go wrong with that. It doesn't have any haste, but that's okay. You could always put some gems in it. And I think that's enough for legs. There's truly a lot of options for legs before you get in, but you're going to be replacing them pretty quickly with tier. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Belt. You have to get this as soon as possible. This is incredibly well itemized for Warlocks, and you get it through Heroic, Dungeon, Emblems, Haste, Hit, Spell Power, Socket, Stamina, Intellect. There's not really any... if you have a belt in the Malefic, this will serve you fine, but I would work towards this as the first item you buy with your badges, for sure. Gloves. The issue with Spellweave is it doesn't have any stamina. And for some, that will make them shy away from a piece of gear, but I want to push the most amount of damage that I possibly can. So I would shoot for Spellweave gloves as a tailoring item. So it's not that complicated to get, and as fast as possible. But if you're having trouble finding a crafter, or you don't want to spend the money, and you're playing TBC right now, these are a decent option. They give you some of that coveted pre-raid BiS hit that Warlocks tend to, you need to find a delicate balance around. So there's not really... Ebon Weave gloves are pretty good too if you're looking for that hit option and you didn't play TBC. But I would use one of these 3 options for sure. And you'll be replacing pretty quickly, because if you're doing OS 25 and you just kill a boss, not even one Drake, you'll get gloves. So they'll be replaced pretty quickly. But Spellweave, Ebon Weave, handguards for sure. For weapons, so there's a lot of weapon options. If you want to wear staff, this is the best staff available before you step into raids. And it's a fat item with haste and spirit, which we love. The issue is it doesn't have any hit. Like, I can put it on right now. I lose like 2.5% hit. But there's an issue with this item, this Titansteel Spellblade. And it's that it might not be in the game. Back in the day, this item came out in Old War, and we're assuming it comes out at launch. If this item is not in the game, there's a very easy sword you can get from Kirin Tor that'll get the job done. Called the Flameheart Spell Scalpel. It is hit, int, crit, stamina, whole 9 yards. This is good. If you want to get a sword from Heroics, that's a little bit better. Cursed Lichblade, very, very solid. Just his spirit instead of that crit, which just ends up as more spell power for us, which we really, really like. It actually is more hit, so it doesn't really affect the set that much. So this is pretty good. Obviously, we'd like the Titansteel Spellblade to be in the game, but we have options at weapons. But I would definitely shoot for that Revered Sword if you're looking for an easy option. This option, if it comes to you from Jack and Keep, if it ends up in your lap, if Titansteel Spellblade's in the game, get that crafted as soon as possible. The mats are not that bad. And then if you want to wear a staff because you think staffs are cool, Staff of Draconic Combat is for you. For bracers, these are the best. It's just straightforward. These are the best option available previous Spirit Haste. Before that, there's some decent options. If you're looking for an easy blue to pick up. Savage Wound Reps from Draktherin is not a bad option at all. It doesn't have any spirit, but it makes up for it in the haste department. Cuffs of the Winged Leviathan are your best option available. Braces of the Malefic are okay. Not having any spirit on any items for Warlocks kind of hurts a lot more, and Rats we scale so much better with spirit. So I would definitely shoot for something with spirit and haste. That would be ideal. So farming these should be a priority. A lot of this is farmable through rep. So and tailoring and rep, that's the goal here. And like the spellweave robe is the same thing. Spellweave gloves. There's also an even weave robe if you need a hit option. There's where's the other chest? If you're playing classic right now, TBC, Robes of Ghostly Hatred, this is an okay option. It isn't as good, obviously. You drop a lot of stats, but you get 3 sockets, so it kind of makes up for it. Sunfire Robe is an okay option as well with 3 red sockets if you're playing and you don't really want to work on getting pre-BiS, because you're going to replace yourself pretty quickly. You can buy this Hero's Plague Heart Robe. Where's the one from the vendor? I think it's the Hero's Plague Heart Robe. It doesn't say, because it drops from Nax, and you could buy it. You could buy the Hero's Plague Heart Robes from the vendor, whatever the 10-man version is, for badges, so you don't even have to get anything here or Sunfire. You just get the Hero's Plague Heart Robe straight from the badge vendor and call it a day. Personally, I'm going to be going for Spellweave Robe because I think that's the best DPS option before I step inside. Once you step inside, obviously, you're going to go for probably the chest, the Valorous Plagueheart Robe, because the 4-piece is huge for Warlocks. Casting Life Tap grants you an additional 300 Spirit for 10 seconds. That's a lot of spell power. But you have a lot of options. Even Weave, Spell Weave. You have your classic options of Sunfire, Robes of Ghostly Hatred, and then you have the Hero's Plagueheart Robe you can buy from the vendor. So lots of options here. So Cloak. Cloak is kind of weird. So this Cloak is only craftable after somebody gets the Northrend Lore Master. So someone that has to finish every single quest in Northrend before they can craft this. So it might be a while before people are getting to this. So I wouldn't put all my eggs in this basket. I know it doesn't have any raw stats, but the special stats that it gives, the secondary, are just superior than any other cloak you get right now. And the only cloak better than this is the Pendant Cloak, which drops from 25 man OS, which is heavily contested from all casters. It is really good, you can tell here. So Death Toll Cloak is what you want to go for as soon as possible. If you want to do Northern Lore Master, this will be a cash cow for you for the rest of the expansion on whatever character you pick. But besides this cloak, if you're looking for something else, if the Deadly Gladiator stuff is in the game, this is a very good cloak with haste, stam, int, spell power. And not that hard. You can start farming for this now. The 38,000 honor points, you can go into Wrath with all of those ready to go. You can get 100 of each mark and turn them in at 180 honor each and buy this off the rip if it's in the game. So that would be a really cool option. If you do not have this and are playing TBC, Tattered Cape, super solid cape. Personally, I'm probably gonna be wearing this into the next because it depends if this is in the game, but I'd probably be wearing this because I'm going to be focusing on doing other things at the launch of the game. And those are probably the best 2 cloaks you could probably imagine. Let's see if anything else has any spirit on it. That drops pretty early. The Hateful one is okay if you're looking for a cheap one. I would definitely take advantage of doing the BG dailies right now and getting those 6 marks for a win, because those stack up pretty quickly, and you only have to suffer through 1 BG a day if you hate PvP, but it'll make it up later once you're able to buy PvP pieces if you don't have a solid cloak. Shoulders. This BOE drops so often, it's not even funny from Halls of Stone. It says 0.1. That's a lie. It drops so much. There's going to be a billion of these on the auction house. If you don't have an Amethyst of the Convoker, get this. Get this as soon as possible. I also want to say, if you have a red gem socket, actually I'll do gems at the end. I'm gonna go with Amethyst of the Convoker, and I needed the hit for my set, so I use hit gems. This is a really solid item from Sunwell Plateau right now. This would definitely be the pre-BiS item. If you can't get this, go for Dark Runic Mantle. There'll be 1,000 of them on the auction house. For neck, this is the pre-BiS neck. 25 emblems of heroism. As soon as you get your belt, you're buying this. You'll get it very quickly if you're doing your heroics every day. 65 badges for the belt and the neck will stack up very quickly, and you'll really appreciate the hit from this neck. It'll tie your set together. So I wouldn't really worry about any other neck at the moment. The PvP necks are okay, but I would definitely just shoot for this. There's not really any other option that you're going to possibly need. This neck's okay. It doesn't have any spirit though. Drops from a heroic. This neck's super okay. It doesn't have any haste. It doesn't have any spirit. But if you just need something to put on in the meantime, there's plenty of options because you're going to be getting this pretty quickly. And for Helm, this is the best Helm. Pre-BiS, there's also a haste version if you don't need the hit. And this comes from Wintergrass marks. I think you need 40 Wintergrass marks and some honor for it. So it'll take a bit of farming of Wintergrass, but Wintergrass isn't that big of a deal. You just queue for it when it comes up, just go in, you'll get your marks faster than you think, especially on an Alliance-dominated server or Horde-dominated server. If you have to fight for it, it might take a little longer, but it's okay. It's worth having. It's a huge item. If you don't really have this or don't want this, and you're playing TBC right now, Dark Conjurer's Collar, very good item. You could nab this up and be set and not really have to farm Titan Forge, because the helm you're probably replacing Titan Forge with is tier helm, and there's always going to be tier helms that are dropping off KT. Even the 10-man tier helm is pretty good. I'd probably use this over Titan Forge if I didn't need the hit. But if we're talking about before all that, Dark Conjurer's Collar and Cowl of Light's Purity is really good too. This is like a sneaky item that only your priest is probably using right now, so I would nab that. And that's probably it. Those two items. Let's talk gems real quick. If you have a red socket, I would shoot for the pure spell power. Unless you need the hit, then you could use the spell power hit. Yellow sockets, I typically like the spell power spell haste option, and if not, you use the spell power hit rating option. Or if you really need the hit, you could use the Rigid Autumn's Glow. For boots, I like the Nitro boots always. You just need Nitro boots. This is the best enchant in the game. For blue sockets, Shining Forest Emerald, if you need the hit option. If you don't need the hit option, you use Purified Twilight Opal, which is what I would like to use once I don't need all these hit supplements that I need. And for enchants, Kirin Tor Revered, pretty easy to get. Sons of Hodir Exalted, you'll be farming this day one. Luckily, if you get one character to Exalted, as of right now, it says it's bind to account, so that's nice. Cloak Enchant, Lightweave Embroidery, Tailoring is a must. 300 spell power proc is crazy for 15 seconds. There's a debate between the chest enchants for 15 Spirit, which equates to more spell power, or 10 stats. You could just, I like Spirit because I think that's more damage, but you guys can figure that out yourself if you like the stamina and the extra intellect and etc. etc. 30 spell power. 30 spell power. We don't know if Black Magic's gonna be in the game. This is a great enchant itself. It's just straight haste on procs, so we'll see if that's in the game. That might open some debates, but I'm just gonna go with the spell power for now and make life easy. For gloves, we use the hyperspeed accelerators. Legs use the just regular old leg enchant with spirit and spell power, extra spell power. And I'm not gonna have any enchants on my rings because I'm not enchanting. And I think that covers basically everything pre-BiS related. So I want to take all that and I guess segue into Affliction Phase 1 BiS. And this is what I think Affliction Phase 1 BiS is going to look like with the best options possible. You can see that we're at exactly 11% hit. Very solid. Going through the pieces one more time. We use the 4-piece because the 4-piece is huge for Warlocks. It's 300 spirit, basically turns into 150 spell power. So getting that in the beginning when you're get snapshotting a corruption is going to be huge for the rest of the fight. There's not really any options besides that. Looking at all the helms, like you're gonna shoot for tier, you're gonna shoot for tier, you're gonna shoot for tier, you're gonna shoot for tier. There's not really any other options. There's some anything with spirit or haste can hold it in the meantime, but those are your best options. For neck, this is the best neck available. Straight up, you want this as fast as possible. The other necks do not really compare. You need the hit because you're going up from a badge piece, wherever the badge piece is, the encircling burnished golden chase. You're going from a hit piece to a stronger hit piece with a socket. So you definitely want to go for that. The Saf neck is super okay. It's just anything with haste on it is what you should be shooting. Crit doesn't really do as much, in my opinion. Haste feels a lot better for the class. You just need the tier. There's not really another option. I guess the 10-man version would be another option. Mantle of Corrupted isn't that good. Mantle of Fatigue Sage, if you need hit and they're desperate and they're going to destroy the item. If they're going to destroy any of these items for these tier pieces and you just don't have it yet, it's better than nothing, right? Like this gown. This is better than nothing, but you just want the tier because it feels better to play with. Pendant Cloak, we talked about this earlier. Death Chill is second best. Pendant Cloak is the only thing that's better. It only drops from OS. I might try to shoot for this as some not actually cloaks just aren't that important. I'd probably shoot for if there's one item out of all of this that I would shoot for first as an Affliction Warlock, the number one item that I would go for is probably Illustration. This is probably the biggest item here. Second biggest item, these pants. These pants are heavily contested by every single caster. They have 82 hit, 66 haste, and will keep your entire set together. You will never have to worry about hit again. Very highly love this item. Going to bracers, there's a bunch of bracer options. These bindings are okay. Unsullied Cuffs are superior than these bindings because they have a socket, but it's pretty simple. Spirit Haste, gotta nab it. Weapons, there's a ton of weapons in Wrathplay. Look how many weapons there are. Spire, Damnation, Haunting Call, Life and Death, all these Gladiator weapons, Staff of Restraint. Turning Tide's the best weapon. Turning Tide with, I like Matriarch Spawn. If you need the hit, Surplus Limb is an option as well. If you want a Staff because you hate the way this looks, great Staff with the Nexus. Crazy haste hit option. Spire isn't that good for us. We don't like 29 mana per 5. Damnation is crit. We don't like that for us. Life and Death, that is super okay. It doesn't have any spirit instead of crit. Haunting Call is okay. It has spirit and hit, and you can work around more items for less hit in your set. And I mean, just Turning Tide's the best item. Best one-hander in the game at the start. And Matriarch Spawn is my favorite offhand. This is a straight up upgrade over the Leash one. Yeah, Leash is an upgrade over Plush Stash because it gives you all of that spirit instead of that hit. So as all the other pieces start to acquire more hit, this is when you'll drop that hit and shoot for more spirit. Arcanic Tramplers are an interesting item. It's actually a BOE. Spirit Haste, very, very good. This is another BOE. This is hit haste, sacrifice the spear for hit. I would go for Arcanic Tramplers because at this point in this gear set, you're going to be getting hit from your chest, you get hit from your tier shoulders, you get hit from your like this leg piece is huge. So you're going to be getting a lot more hit as you're moving along. In terms of rings, these are direct upgrades over the rings you have from Heroics. So this is pretty easy. It's ring for ring. And Bandit Channel Magics is better than Analyde's Ring because it has that spirit on it. And Signet of Manifest Pain is better than Band of Geel because it has more stats. And simple as that. This ring's okay if you need a hit. Hopefully you won't need a hit at that point. Everything's contingent around this 11% hit. 10% if you're Alliance. I'm assuming 11%, so I don't have to beg for a Draenei group because we have some hit options. Trinket. Dying Curse is incredible. These proc trinkets are so strong because how proc trinkets work in Wrath is that they proc immediately at the start of the fight, so it makes snapshotting really easy. So you want Dying Curse, so you can proc immediately, and then you go straight into Illustration once you get an Illustration full stack for 200 spell power, and you snapshot all that into your Corruption, and you just see all the damage over the entire fight. It feels so satisfying. There's not really anything. There's not really any other options besides those, so I'm not even going to mention any other trinket besides those in the previous ones. Wand. This is the only. This is the only wand. So you go from the dungeon wand to gem wand. And that's it. That is it. And I think that's all the gearing information you're possibly going to need to know about Warlock in the first phase during Next Rammus. If you have any questions, you can join my Discord and message me. I love answering questions, and I'll be available anytime. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm growing. Any little bit helps. Really, really appreciate it. And you can catch me live on Twitch. I stream a lot, and I play a bunch. I have one of every single class at 70, so I try to be knowledgeable on every single class. And I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.